Hello everybody. Hopefully this is gonna work. Okay. Hold on, I'm doing a thing. I'm doing a thing that I set up before the stream starts every time, and it still consistently does not work. Oh, hello. Let's see if this will work. Hopefully if this works, it should actually come up on the screen, but for some reason it only seems to work on Twitch and not on YouTube, which is very irritating. No, would you look at that? It's not working. But why? But why is it not working? Ugh, sorry about that. Who is the enemy? Guess. Guess. Guess what tomorrow's video is about. Because, I mean, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased, but also slightly pissed. We have some things to tell you in tomorrow's video, which today we're getting ready for filming what tomorrow's video will be, and then I'm going to do a fast and furious edit to get it up. Who is the enemy and why are we destroying them? Have a look. Have a look at our videos about the legal battle we've been in for the last 3 years. The first video is called What Happened to DissociaDID, our videos, and we've done like updates. Yes, it's an update on the court case. It's good news for us, but also he's gone on a Twitter rant and implied some things that just are not true that we are going to have to address, and we're going to go into detail. And also there's a lot of things that he didn't mention in his Twitter rant, or conveniently left out, and we will be showing you all the screenshots of what actually has happened and what the court has actually said and how decisions are actually made, compared to how he tried to imply or just factually wrong things that he said. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting video. We have, of course, run all of it by our lawyers to make sure everything in it is completely factually correct and, you know, we've not got anything wrong, and also that none of it is defamatory or anything like that. So we're also going to share some stuff I don't think we've shared before. Like when we started making the video, the first video introducing everything that happened, it was just about the IP stuff. But the reality is, there was a reason why there was a harassment case beyond what you know, beyond what he did after he tried to sue us. Like, and we're gonna maybe mention some things I don't think we've mentioned before. Like our friends and stuff know, the courts know, but I'm not sure we've spoken about it publicly, because obviously he was a big part of our life in 2020, because that was when he forced his way into our life. So yes, potentially some things that you may know, you may not know, I don't know. It's Kaya fronting right now, thank you for asking. So today we need to do makeup to suit the video, and I haven't done makeup in ages. Why is there black on my head here? I don't know what that is. So it needs to be makeup to slay our enemy and to show victory, and also you can't just lie to people and then accuse us of lying. Weird thing with fake claimers and stuff like that is that they love to accuse us of lying without, thank you so much, Raven, thank you. It's not done yet, although we've got results. The court stuff is not done. It is simply moving on to the next stage, but the updates are pretty interesting. Very interesting, I would say. But yeah, fake claimers and people like that love to like accuse systems of lying and faking and stuff like that, and then they hold it over their heads as if, like, you know, they're saying themselves, this is a cancelable offence, right? This is a bad thing, but then have absolutely no qualms with lying themselves. So, for example, a lot of people, we see people in random people's comment sections being like, oh, Dissociative were proven to be fake. And it's like, but we weren't though, were we? And you can't prove that we're fake because the reality of the situation is that we're not fake. So there is no proof, actual proof that's come out that we've been, exposed for faking, because that's just not the truth. If anything, since we started DissociaDID, we've had a second professional diagnosis of DID from a psychiatrist on the NHS. So in actual fact, since you started trying to cancel us, more proof has come out from actual professionals that we're not faking. So the reality is, it's the opposite. So it's terrible and awful for us to lie, even though we don't. But it's okay for them to do it. You know, if they don't get their way, they can turn to lying, and that's totally fine, because it's different rules for them, right? But then they'll, you know, their biggest attack against us is that, oh, they're lying, they're faking. And it's like, do you need a mirror, bro? Do you need a mirror, bro? Yeah, GRWM is get ready with me, so it's a make-up-y, preppy type situation. Thank you, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Hi Rami, how you doing? Show proof of what? Our diagnosis? We've spoken about our diagnosis before. If you want us to, like, we've already read out, like, the scores and shit like that we got. Some people choose to show their diagnosis online, and I think that's fair, but I also don't think that there should be, like, necessarily you have to expose your, like, medical records in order to be seen as proof. What brand of makeup are you using? Is Natural Radiant Longwear by NARS. And, you know, Plumbus Jones is about to be plumbed from this stream. So it's going to let me do that. It'd be great if they would. Hide user on this channel. Goodbye. But yeah, it's not like we haven't shown proof before, or that we haven't spoken about it, or that we haven't, you know, said who diagnosed us and where diagnosed us. And people rang them up that asked if that was true and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, we read out our scores. All that shit. Like, it's not new. This isn't new information or things that haven't been proved. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate that. It's a shame though, because there has been like another sort of boom in like fake claiming coming back up again. I mean, there was never a ceasefire, but since that video came out from McLean, it has obviously caused a rise in hate and disbelief and attacks against systems and stuff like that, which is extremely disappointing. But, I mean, anybody with a brain could see that that was what was going to happen after a professional institution thought that it was a good idea to break their own rules and regulations publicly on a public platform and put people in danger, the kind of people that they swore oaths to protect. So, if anybody is shocked, I don't know, they know what they were doing and we're angry about it. We're still angry about it. It's not fully Kaya, I don't think. I think Ruby's relatively close by. Yeah, I mean, yes it is. It is about Costa. That's what tomorrow's video is going to be about. And don't worry, you know we always come with our receipts. So you will be seeing exactly what the court said and exactly how the court made their decisions and exactly the reasons why things have happened. Because we have nothing to hide. Which is why we've always come through with screenshots and things. And also because you guys deserve to know. Like, it's all public information. And those of you who have been supporting us this whole way, whether it be like in comments or watching our videos, or whether you've been sharing our, you know, our fundraiser or donating, which has been incredible. You deserve to know what's going on, and you deserve the truth of what's going on, which is obviously why we do all these update videos. What happens if you switch in court? We did. We did switch in court. Carry on. Just carry on. You can't really, like, ask the world to stop for you when you're in situations like that. As much as that would be helpful, that's kind of, you know, what our DID is built to do. Carry on, you know? that's what it was always like before we were public about it and stuff like that. Like, it is a coping mechanism, and can be extremely subtle, not in all cases. But when you're in a situation like that, you've learned, or you come with the knowledge of how to mask as a system, or at least some of you will have. So dealing with stuff like that, while it is an immediate sort of oh fuck, what's happening? You roll with the punches. Have you considered suing him back? We did. We made a counterclaim against him, as well as defending the claim that he brought against us, and we won on our counterclaim. And he was ruled to have... Well, I explain all of it in a lot more detail in tomorrow's video. What will be tomorrow's video, which I'll be filming after this. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, E. Thank you. I haven't watched the Letsia. I don't really know how to pronounce her name. I haven't actually seen anything about it, just text, the court case or anything like that. We were going to have a look at it, and we were like, this is going to trigger the absolute bejesus out of us, so we didn't. How old were you when you realised not everyone had DID? 0. It was more of a case of discovering that we had DID. Sorry, that was Mango running up the stairs. That didn't sound good. What you doing? Seraphina is sitting outside the door, just chilling. You may have noticed the difference in personalities between our two cats, Seraphina and Mango. Seraphina we got first. She's so much more laid back. And they both help us, like, therapeutically in different ways, and they sort of balance each other out. But Seraphina, you know, will leave me alone when I'm working, and she'll just maybe watch from the sidelines, or she'll go off and do her own thing. Thank you, Captain Dunzel. Okay, so here's what happens with costs. There's two things that can happen. Is they can be ordered to pay your legal costs up to a cap in the IPEC court, and the cap in the IPEC court, which is, IPEC is like intellectual property and something court. The cap for the amount that someone can be asked to pay towards somebody else's legal costs is £50,000. We've already spent probably close to 3 times that much. I mean, yeah, that's not even going to be close. And then damages and stuff like that would be different amounts potentially, but that's what we're now moving on to. Now we'll be moving on to the quantum stage. So we've done the sort of, did somebody do this, that and the other, what actually happened, who was in the wrong, and then we move into, okay, so what do we do about it, you know, what does each person get for this? But again, the numbers are relatively small. It's always going to be in situations like ours in this one, that the cost of going through the litigation is 1,000,000 times more expensive than the possible return payment of what you'd win in court, because this situation is laughably small in terms of bothering the court with it. It was about, what essentially came down to, 3 video scripts and a disclaimer that we wrote and were ruled to have written, and some comments, which were known as the social media works. They were pre-scripted comment responses so that we could just copy and paste when we got multiple questions about the same thing. That's what it's about. It's ridiculously small compared to, you know, people who take other people to court over sort of like millions of pounds and like tens of hundreds of pounds, compared to how much we have to spend just to have lawyers do the work. It's not even going to be close. So really, there's no point in bringing someone to court over something this small. We'll be going into that actually in the video. Will he get banned for wasting judges' times with how long he dragged that out? That's something that actually the courts have kind of addressed, with like how long he can go on for, how long he can make this an issue, and what he can do and how many courts he can bother with it. They've actually made a statement on it, which again, he obviously has not mentioned. We will be mentioning it and going into detail. So do not worry about that. Oh, I'm really glad that we could help you, honestly. Yeah, spoiler alert, he's not allowed to take it to the Supreme Court. That's ridiculous to think that this would be important enough to bother the Supreme Court with. The Supreme Court. over a handful of video scripts and some comments. The Supreme Court that deals with stuff like Brexit and parliamentary issues and people losing their houses and millions and millions and millions of pound lawsuits. And just someone throwing a complaint about, well, this person didn't accept my advances. I wrote them some, or helped. It's all, anything that he was awarded was all joint. The rest of it was ruled to be completely ours. So none of it is even completely his. And him being like, I made some comments. I helped write some comments. The Supreme Court needs to hear this. The Supreme Court's got to hear this. They're going to be fuming. No. It's crazy. But yeah, again, there's a lot more than I'm going to say in this stream, obviously, or there'd be no point in you watching a video. But yeah, we go into some detail about some things that happened when we still knew each other, and the ways that he was contributing to our life, or trying or forcing his way into DissociaDID and our personal life, and, you know, the things that were said and done. And again, we can't say a lot of it because until the hearings and stuff are completely done, I don't know what we are and aren't allowed to say. But safe to say, the amount of information that you guys have is literally just the stuff that was related to videos, just the IPEC stuff. The extent of what he did in terms of, like, our life to our system, and things like that, before ever getting into the legal side of stuff, is enormous. Enormous. So, hi Celine, how are you doing, darling? How are you doing? Yeah, restraining orders, that's the thing, is that Sergio he lives in Portugal, he's Portuguese. He's a white Portuguese man, right? That is relevant to something that will come up in tomorrow's video, because he accused the UK courts of racism because of the decision that was made. So he accused them of prejudice against foreigners. Anyway, yeah, the problem is that because he lives in Portugal, we as the UK court and the UK sort of like police and judicial system, we can't necessarily touch him over there because they have their own judicial system, their own police force. So we can't, for example, send anyone over there to make him, for example, pay things that the court have ordered him to pay, which is why he refused to pay the court-ordered £10,000 thing that they said, well, you've been misbehaving in court, which again we went over in another video, and he just refused to pay. Again, that's been sorted out now, which again we will go into in another video. Oh, I'm so happy for that, to hear that your friend Marston told you they have the ID. They must feel really safe with you. That's really nice to hear. So yeah, things like restraining orders. We did have a injunction against him, basically saying that he had to stop harassing us. He wasn't allowed to come within a certain amount of distance of our house, because one of the things he did say was that he floated, wanting to move to our hometown, to our town. And then when we said no, he was like, oh, well, maybe an hour or so away then, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I won't say anything like that. Pronouns, literally any today, please. No, I'm not wearing a mic on my neck. This is a little necklace that we found while we were sorting out the office, because we've been vlogging that as well. Yeah, so even having an injunction and stuff like that, it did not stop him from harassing us and defaming us and lying about us and all that stuff online, because even though the courts had ordered it, he knew and boasted about it on Twitter that, well, I live in Portugal, so what are they going to do about it? So that's one of the reasons why we dropped the harassment case, because even if we won it, there'd be no way to enforce it. Even winning that case would not keep us safe from him, which is obviously an issue. But yeah, it does make you lose a bit of faith in, how far, you can be protected, and what people are allowed to do, because, you know, online related law and online harassment and crimes and stuff like that, compared to how long other laws and things like that have existed, it's still relatively new. Oh, here's the main part of the necklace, sorry. But yeah, we found it while we were sorting out the office for a vlog. We're trying to redo the office. Look, we nailed them to the wall. Yeah, isn't it? Our plaques. I drilled a hole in the wall. Yeah, I had a little thing I had to run along the wall that would beep if there were wires behind it and stuff like that. And I used a level checker thing and stuff like that. Put like raw plugs in the wall and shit like that. Thank you for following. Felt like a powerful man. I was like, yeah, look at me doing physical chores. What's the benefit of getting diagnosed with DID? Is the system ourselves? We can only see the negative. It is a complicated question. There is a chance that you will experience stigma because of it in medical and sometimes professional areas. For example, like we have with our education and stuff like that. But also the option is yours, whether if you have that diagnosis, whether you want to share it. Obviously, it'll be visible on your medical records, so there you don't get a choice. But if you don't wish to share your medical records, then that is your choice. The good thing about having a diagnosis is that it opens you up to getting treatment that you might need. There are very limited specialists and people who are trained, highly trained in DID or dissociative disorders with, you know, like an intense trauma background. And it's going to be, they're going to take the first pick of people who they know really need that help, specifically because they have a disorder that would need that kind of treatment. So there's something else to consider. It is, at the end of the day, completely your choice. There is no wrong option. Both will have their challenges. It's just which path you want to take. There's going to be good and bad sides to each one. Whichever road you decide to go down is your road. And it'll be an adventure either way. I've been diagnosed with DPDR. Sorry, I've got a mirror in front of my screen. Still unsure how to handle it and would love your opinion as it's not very well documented. Honestly, one of the only things that has made a decent amount of difference to us is grounding, like really brushing up and drilling it into our heads to remember to ground, because it's not something that comes to mind when you're experiencing a severe DPDR episode, or at least it doesn't for us. You know, we get caught up in it and forget anything outside of it. Hydration check, thank you so much. Who's surfacing? It's Kaya. Ruby, I think, is floating around, not close enough to really have that much of an impact, but I feel a lot stronger than usual. Yeah, feel free to address me as Kaya, that would be great. Tips on mask makeup. I've actually not really tried to do mask makeup. I think as Kyle I tried a couple of times, but generally, you know, really contouring squares into your face instead of roundness. DPDR is depersonalization derealization disorder. It's dissociation related, but other things that I've found helps when I'm trying to do makeup that's a little bit more masculine. This is what I use as contour. It's a Jolie Beauty Perfectly Sculpted palette that's absolutely filthy at the minute, but here's what it looks like. And we are very pale, so we use a very light hand with this one in the middle here because it's a cool toned contour. A lot of products at the minute on the market are, not that we're buying any, but like that we see are, you know, they're marketed as contour, but they're actually bronzers because they're really warm toned, unless you have a really deep and warm skin tone yourself, in which case that might work for you. For contours, you're going to want cool toned products because it needs to mimic a shadow. Otherwise, it might look a little bit muddy, or it's going to look like the light has hit your face and warms your face up and stuff like that. And it doesn't really give the impression of a shadow to change the shape of your, like the planes of your face in the same way. Yeah, Celine is an incredible mod, so please don't worry that things will be missed. I actually wanted to speak to you, Celine. I saw you sent me an email and I haven't opened it because I'm an absolute asshole. I'm so sorry. I literally just remembered that I saw and thought, oh, need to remember to open that. Boom, gone immediately. As soon as I noticed it, I was like, right, make a note to not forget that. Forgotten. I'm so sorry. But I wanted to speak to you about like live streams and stuff like that, ways that we can be super careful to not miss super chats, like maybe getting a document together that all the mods can share, and any super chats just get copy and pasted into there so I can look at it and they won't disappear. But don't worry about that now. That's just something that I need to remember to talk to you about. I'm so sorry. Makeup expert out here. Hardly. Chloe was the makeup expert. I feel like I lost all my skill. It was harder as Nin, but then once I fused into Kaya, it was like I still knew, like, logically what to do. I had all the knowledge, but it just didn't look as good anymore. Like, my hands weren't, like, it just, I don't know, there was some magic ability that I had that was just gone. You sent me an email 3 times. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Celine. Oh my god. Really, really sorry. I feel awful. I'm sorry. What's the difference between DID and OSDD? There's 2 types of OSDD. OSDD is otherwise specified dissociative disorder. It used to be called as... What did it used to be called, guys? Something else. Can't remember now. I will remember. I do know. I have the information, just not... It's not coming to mind immediately. And some people are now calling it PDID or partial DID. Now, we're not an OSDD system, so I can't really speak on it. But personally, I don't like that term because I think it makes it sound like almost less than DID. And I mean, it works in a different way and it's slightly less complex. But that doesn't mean that it's any less important or difficult to live with or intense of a disorder. And I don't think that it's sort of like a bit of DID. It is a type of... That's it, DDNOS, thank you. Dissociative disorder not otherwise specified. Look at you guys and your knowledge. Look at you. You know shit. Yeah. Get it, Queen? Sorry. Can you talk about what it was like before we got diagnosed? We can, actually. Yeah. Oh, something I wanted to talk to you about. You might notice that recently, like maybe on TikTok, maybe in videos and stuff like that, we're struggling less with dissociation. Like, we still struggle with it. Yes, obviously we do. We have a dissociative disorder. But we've changed our medication. And we've come off of a medicine that we've been on for a decade. And the withdrawals were horrible. Just the worst ever. But now, we still experience dissociation. We still experience everything. But I can think clearly now, like, except from obviously when I'm dissociating, but before it was like, even when I wasn't really dissociating, I couldn't really think. And I think the only reason I was able to express myself quite well is because as a system we have an intelligent brain. We've always been quite smart, so you know, things were still able to get across, but now it's like I'm speaking faster, I can think clearer and faster, I don't feel like a zombie all the time, and I feel like I've got my consciousness back. I'm able to access memories faster, ones that are shared with me. I'm able to communicate with the system members that are closer to me faster, which is one of the reasons why we've been able to do these Meet the Alters videos things again. Like, I've been able to come to conclusions about things, and it's like, holy balls, like, what's going on? So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I can think like maybe 40% of the time. Sorry, Cyrus, if you comment again, I'll keep an eye out for your particular username. The only comments we can really guarantee to be read are super chats, because they come up in like a bubble, like a big coloured bubble, and then they also stay at the top of the screen for us where we can click on them, and then also after the stream there's like a bit that we can go to that is like read all the super chats. Other than that, there's a chance that they may get lost. So we've got 1,000 people watching right now, apparently, according to Streamlabs. I don't know if that's accurate. I feel like it's not. I feel like that's a lie. You're lying to me, Streamlabs. Streamlabs is lying to me. I don't believe you. How many people are here? This is going to weird me out until I know for sure how many people are here. Let's have a look. Oh, 1,022. Nah. I don't think so. Denial. Well, if there are, hello to everybody here. Yeah, any pronouns for me right now. I generally prefer they, them, or he, him. But sometimes I'm like, it's a she, her kind of moment right now. Hi, darling. Stay safe. Whoa. It suddenly went really fast. Can someone dissociate without having DID or OSDD? Yes, they can. Absolutely. So everybody can dissociate to a low level. So, for example, if you're driving in a car, you might, be going somewhere and you're driving and then suddenly you're there or you're turning and you don't really remember getting there. That's dissociating. Your brain has kind of put its feet up to give you a break. Your conscious brain has kind of disconnected itself from your body and you've gone on autopilot. Your subconscious is taking care of everything. You're not consciously doing everything on your own, which is great. Your body needs that. That's normal levels of dissociation. Also, for example, if you're reading a book and maybe you've got to the end of the page and you realise you don't remember what you've read, you haven't been paying attention, you've been dissociating. So that's normal. Yes, you are going to get another Meet the Alters. We've actually had 2 uploaded last week and the week before, I think. You will be getting more. We've left some messages in the books and apps and stuff like that and being like, look, people who want to do it, here are the questions you can answer. You can make it really short if you want. Or just tell me to fuck off and don't do it. And that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with. But I think that some of the people who've done Meet the Alters videos in the past, like, for example, Sally, Jade, Ruby, have seen or known about that Mike did his and sort of reflected a bit on how he's changed in the last 5 years and been like, maybe we could do that. Because obviously we have all changed quite a lot. I don't think Jade's changed that much. I also don't think Sally's changed all that much. I think Ruby has. But, yeah, we'd be more than happy to talk about CFS. I do just want to go into something quickly again about dissociation, though. So, those levels of normal dissociation I talked about, completely normal. Everybody experiencing it. Yeah, zoning out is a really mild type of dissociation. And then you move into sort of, not episodes. What's the word I'm looking for? Forms, I suppose, of structural dissociation, and that's when disorders come into place. So that's much higher levels of dissociation. And there are 3 types of that. There is primary structural dissociation, primary structural dissociation, secondary structural dissociation, and tertiary structural dissociation. And this is why we say that DID is on a spectrum along the dissociative spectrum and the trauma spectrum with things like PTSD. It's essentially a really extreme form of PTSD. I will come back to your question, darling. Literally, darling. That's lovely. I will have a look at that, don't worry. And Celine, can you copy paste that just in case? Like, just copy it, and then if I ask for darling, can you just paste it in? That would be really helpful. Yes, so we've talked about normal levels of dissociation that everybody experiences. When you have primary structural dissociation, that's PTSD. So when you go to secondary structural dissociation, that's CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. Complex PTSD is different from PTSD in the sense that it's usually stems from trauma that it has been experienced over a long period of time. It could be multiple types of traumas over a long period of time. It could be one type of trauma over a long period of time, but essentially adds up to not feeling safe or being in an elevated fight or flight response, experiencing traumas for an elongated, perpetuated timeline. And the memories and experiences and flashbacks that you have are a little different. You see this a lot in people who've experienced CSA. And generally their flashbacks are, not all the time and not solely, but there's a lot more experience of emotional flashbacks tend to be a bigger thing in CPTSD. That's secondary structural dissociation. And then you move into tertiary structural dissociation. That's my doorbell. I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm not here. Tertiary structural dissociation is DID, OSDD, and stuff like that. Maybe we can make a video on that. I feel like Chloe or Nin might have at least mentioned it, but maybe not done a full video on it. But we can definitely do that. Okay, Celine, can you please copy paste that for me? And thank you, Shell Sparrow. Can you please copy paste that thing from Darling? That would be really helpful. Thank you. But I hope that helped SMH. I hope you're doing okay, by the way. I hope your healing and recovering is going well. Or did we miss something from Sigma System as well? Sorry about that. What are we getting ready for? We're getting ready to film a video for tomorrow. So I'm going to have to do a wild edit tonight about a legal update and things that have happened with Sergio Costa. And yes, very interesting tea coming. And we will be addressing his tweets as well. If you're comfortable telling us what is your system's healing goal, is it functional multiplicity or full fusion or a secret third option? Okay, thank you, Celine. And thank you for the question, darling. No, the cat didn't ring the doorbell. That would have been very impressive. I don't think that we have a set goal. What we are doing at the minute is we are still focusing on the earlier stages of healing, which is improving our system communication and dealing with and processing the trauma that comes up from it. So we had a really good discussion actually the other day with somebody about our childhood and some of the things that we've remembered from our childhood and how those things were able to happen and why either so many people either didn't help or knew about it and didn't do anything to stop it, how we ended up in those situations. We have not done a cool eyeliner, no eyeliner on yet. I've literally just done contour and foundation, sorry, I keep getting distracted. But yeah, working through that stuff is hard. Once we have worked through our trauma enough, at least the trauma that we know of enough, that it is impacting us to a lesser extent in our daily life, then we can move on to other stages of healing. But generally, the more we learn about our system and the more integration, not necessarily fusion, although fusion is a type of integration, the more integration that happens, which has been happening. And the cool thing about having dissociative is that you've been able to see it, like you've been able to see us improve our connections with each other, the lowering of amnesia barriers, people learning, like Mike, and changing through therapy and becoming aware of each other, and the altar count that we were aware of shooting up, not because loads of new altars have been created, but because due to that integration, that lowering of amnesia barriers, that working through trauma, more altars have come forward, or we've found in flashbacks and stuff like that, who are either ready to or have unintentionally shared these trauma memories. And it's like, wow, shit, there is a lot. There is an awful lot. Which shouldn't really be that surprising, because that's what DID is. But it's still, you still get that thought of, oh yeah, it's like that for everyone else, but not for me, you know, it probably wasn't that bad for me, it couldn't have been that bad for me. It was that bad. And I'm extremely emotionally disconnected from the majority of it. Hi, I remember Mary saying that she enjoys nature when you have the possibility to get outside. Could she or anyone else help you feel more comfortable by using your garden as a resource for your mental and physical well-being? That's a really good question, and actually a really kind question. So Sia and this is not the right brush for this, but we're going to go with it anyway. Sia and Mary both want to go outside. They are two people in our system who enjoy the outdoors. Another alter in our system who almost exclusively fronts when we're outside is Jewel, who is deep childhood. Like, we thought that she was like not necessarily like an imaginary best friend or whatever it is, but we thought that we made her up to write stories about. But the reality was that as a baby, she was, well, I guess born from our imagination to help us deal with things and be like a comfort to us as a baby, as a kid. And she would front a lot when we were outside as well. And now she almost exclusively fronts or comes out of dormancy when we are walking outside in nature. Thank you, Child of Aphrodite. Holy balls! Thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. We really appreciate that. So there are alters who either exclusively front outside or who do like the outside. Unfortunately, because I and other alters are more often in the front, or at least close to front, and we, especially me, Kaya, have pretty severe struggles with leaving the house on our own if we either don't have somebody with us, or we don't have you are going to see somebody to do something and then you're coming right back home. Like, we need a full plan. We need to know that we're meeting somebody in the middle somewhere. We've already been through that route before, and stuff like that. Holy balls! And it's something we're working on, but it's very hard. But yes, we do have a garden, an extremely overgrown garden, and now that the sun is starting to shine and stuff like that again, it would be amazing if we could do something with the garden. The other thing, though, plants are so expensive. Like, plants are so expensive. So I guess it would mainly be like, I don't know, just going to mow the lawn. But even that, even though it's ours, it's our garden, it's still terrifying because it's outdoors. You know, anybody could see. I remember, like, in 2020 and stuff like that, it was a big deal if we were able to go into the garden. Because we used to have this genuine fear that because we'd been doxxed and things like that, and people were so hateful, we would imagine any time we went outside or looked outside or anything like that, that somebody from one of these hate sites or something like that, or one of our past abusers, was just going to come through our gate and hurt us. And it's not necessarily something that that wouldn't have been impossible. In some circumstances, that wouldn't have been unlikely. It was scary, and I still don't think that we've got over that. We've never really had as much of an issue before that, but the fear is still there. And, you know, we'd talk ourselves out of it sometimes and be like, we literally live in the middle of nowhere. Even if people know where we live, nobody's going to recognise us here. But then we were recognised in our hometown once by the most lovely woman. I genuinely think her name was Rebecca, but I might be wrong. She was so lovely. She was handing out like posters or something, or leaflets, and she kind of went like that, and I thought she was going to try and sell us something, and I was with my then partner, and we both kept walking, and I felt so bad that I turned around after about 3 seconds and I ran back to her and I was like, "Hi, what are you doing? Like, what are you selling?" And she was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You're dissociated." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah." And then I was just really awkward about it, and I still feel terrible about that because she was so nice. Like, I didn't really know what to do or when to leave. But yeah, didn't expect that. Who is fronting now? It's Kaya right now. Let me have a look at the other super chats we've got here. Maybe Serafina and Mango would enjoy playing in the garden with a leash. We actually did take Serafina out there once or twice with like a little leash and stuff like that. She didn't really enjoy it. They are indoor cats by breed, which was one of the reasons we got them. Hi darling, thank you so much for answering. I'm sending positive vibes so that your healing continues to go well. Also, do you put pineapple on pizza? I think some of us do. I don't. Thank you, Antinka. I think we also missed another one. Did we miss one before Antinka and between Child of Aphrodite? I feel like we did. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If anybody caught that, please send us... Oh, is Lotus here? Is Lotus here? Hi, Lotus. How you doing, bro? What am I looking at? Nothing important. I'm just, like, putting stuff on my face and not really paying attention to what I'm doing. How to deal with alters / splits that speak foreign languages, and also do any of you have an interest in languages? We've never been any good at languages. As far as I'm aware, we don't have an alter who speaks a foreign language, because then the body would have had to learn that at some point. So, other than using like translators, if they're leaving you notes and stuff like that, and trying to learn the language yourself, if that's not something that you have your own memory for, I'm not really sure what else to advise you. I'm really sorry. Maybe somebody in the chat might be able to give you some advice, but we don't deal with that personally with our system. So, do you like cheese? Who do you take me for? I love cheese. People, I don't trust people who don't like cheese. Sorry, it's incredible. Cheese is the shit. My diet consists mainly of cheese. How is Murmur? No idea. Sorry, not a clue. Not a clue. She's fronted a couple of times again to help her shower, but again, communication is difficult and minimal. But she seems to be okay. I haven't noticed any difference in her routine. Oh god, that's so fucking pretty. Or like when she fronts or anything like that. She seems to be the same. I don't think she's distressed about anything. So, you mentioned your thinking became more clear on your new medication. It's a wonderful feeling. Hope you keep having these progresses, especially while dealing with all the challenges. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, it has made a big difference. Especially after that period where we got really, really ill. And then our doctor was like, bitch, everything's wrong with you. And we were like, I don't know. But yeah, having answers and stuff like that helps a lot. And then changes in medication helps a lot. Having, you know, new diagnoses and being listened to about our physical illnesses as well. And so having some names for some things that were wrong with us. Or wrong with us, you know, like disorders and illnesses and diseases and things. It helps a lot. Wow, big question. What would you say is the most important lesson you ever learned in life? One thing came to mind. And it doesn't really make sense because, well, I know why it doesn't really make sense. It's because we're a DID system. Because I learnt this and then didn't really follow it. Hi, gorgeous. Mango has entered the room. Hello, baby. Are you coming up here? She's scratching my chair. Are you scratching my chair? What you doing? But it was taught to Chloe by one of our persecutors before we knew we had DID. Scared the ever-loving shit out of her. Not in like a, oh god, that really made me jump, but in a, am I possessed? Am I going to be murdered? There is a demon in my room who's scaring the life out of me and threatening like the people that I know and stuff like that. But it was just to get Chloe to listen. They weren't actually doing anything. It was all done through dreams. I think we've spoken about this before, but it was demon. Everyone, show us the cat! Okay, hold on. Hi, baby. What are you doing? You want to say hello to the people? Oh, look at this cat. She's so big now. This is Mango, who is now huge. She's not even a year old. You were born in September, weren't you? Same as Serafina and same as us. But you're a big girl now, aren't you? Happy girl. I don't know whether she'll accept being sat on my lap because she's in a playful mood. No, she wants to be in... She's walked herself into a small sock type thing. We got told processing trauma before integrating. Whoa. Has the risk of not remembering the healing after, meaning it has to be done all over again once integrated. Do you mean fusing? Because processing trauma is part of integrating. There is a risk that, I mean, it'll be processed somewhere in your body, but if you fuse afterwards, there is a chance that you'll forget certain trauma. But if it's been processed already, then surely once you then have access to it again, it won't be as difficult to reprocess or remember or anything like that. If it's not an issue, girl, what are you doing, child of Aphrodite? Thank you, but why? Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, like, there's things that I've forgotten since I fused into Kaya. I forgot some very young childhood memories from Kyle. I have some vague awareness of the idea of some things that happened, but not what actually happened or what the actual situation was or the memories. Jade took them away, and there's a video where Nin and Kyle were kind of coming to terms, talking to each other on a video, just for us, about that we might be fusing, and we were both really scared, and there was a lot of crying about it. And one of the things Kyle said in that video was that I was really worried about memory sharing, if that was what was happening, and thankfully, you know, our brain knew what to do to not make us flooded, and Jade obviously was really helpful as well. So I think that it is important to process trauma and not worry about what comes next in terms of the fusion. Processing trauma is a big baseline thing. Only do it when you're safe, when you're stable, because there is a chance it could dysregulate your whole system, or it could flood your system. But I wouldn't say put a hold on your healing just in case a fusion happens, because it might not happen. And if it does happen, fusion is generally, not always, a positive sign of growth and healing. Sometimes memories need to be shifted around like a Rubik's Cube. And you know, you'll find a way to have all the sides the same colour at some point. But it is your choice. At the end of the day, it's your choice. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. If you think processing that trauma will help you and you're in a safe enough place to do it, then do it. Don't think 3 steps ahead, because you're not there yet. Please don't stand on the keyboard. RE languages. How common / possible is it for an alter to split speaking a language? Hello? That the body has never learned. I don't think that's possible, because in order for an alter to have knowledge of anything, the body or brain will need to have been... Girl, she's just jumped onto the top of my desk and also knocked the entire chair over, which landed on me. The body or brain will need to have been exposed to that to have that information or knowledge. You can't get information or knowledge from nothing. You're still human. Integrating, what does integrating actually mean? So integrating, it can mean lots of things. Integrating is a process of healing. Please don't bite that, girl. I'm going to have to lock you out of the room. What are you doing? Processing, it can be lowering of amnesia barriers. It can be increased communication between alters. It can be just healing in general, processing trauma, processing memories. All that stuff is integration. Fusion is a type of integration. Please, Mango. Please don't. No. She's knocking things down. Yeah, come on. I'm going to have to shut you out of the room, because if you stand on something, you're going to turn the whole stream off, aren't you? Come here. Oh, enormous cat. Hi. Say hi. Okay. Let's pop you out here. You good girl. Go play with your sister. Love you. I'm sorry. That's a heavy ash door. Hi. Fusion is a type of integration, and fusion is when 2 or more alters fuse together to become one alter. That's also a type of integration, but integration is also its own thing. Hi, Basma. Proud of you. Just wanted to send some love and positivity all the way from Egypt. Say hi to Mara and Seer for me. I will do if I can. Thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. Finally booked a consultation with a therapist to get some help for my mental health, and honestly, you're one of the biggest factors that have helped me become ready to receive that help. Sending so much love. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. That's a big step. Congratulations. I hope that it goes well. You should keep us updated if you want to on streams and comments and things. Don't forget to talk about what it was like before you got diagnosed. Give me something specific. If you ask me something a bit more specific, then I can answer those questions. But that's kind of an enormous question. How the piggies doing? The piggies are doing good. You're more likely to see them on either our Patreon or our TikTok than on the YouTube channel, though, because they're downstairs. Is this the house that you as Nin filmed videos in? Yes and no. We filmed some videos here and some in another house. Some in another two. Had we moved? No, 1, 2. We filmed in 2 houses as Nin, I think. Yeah? I think that's right. Sorry. Did we miss a question from Adrili M? Silly. There's a story my psych teacher told which is true about dissociative fugue. A German man got beat up in an alley. He originally spoke German but woke up speaking English with a German accent. If you already knew English, or, you know, had some knowledge of English or had picked it up without really realising, then yeah, of course. Things like that do happen. But you can't get knowledge and information from nothing. It has to come from somewhere. I think. Again, I'm not an expert. Also, we've been sorting things out for Twitch to start the gaming streams up again. And these little thingies at the bottom of the screen will actually work on Twitch. And you get like they come up here as like comments on screen so you can read it. But for some reason it just does not work with YouTube. So I'm really sorry about that. Question please. One of my alters is having issues with splitting and remerging and he currently believes he has OSDD. Do you think that is even possible? I don't know how to help him. This is useless advice. I do not know. Alters can like split and remerge and stuff like that, especially if you're polyfragmented. I'm not as knowledgeable on OSDD, which is one of the reasons that we don't speak about it as often, because I'm worried that I'll get something wrong. I would say reach out to an OSDD system and ask for some advice on that, because I'm really worried I'd give you wrong advice, and that's not something I want to do. But it is possible to split and remerge and split and remerge and stuff like that. We've known systems who do that a lot, and it's distressing for them and for people around them, and it is possible and it is valid and it does happen. Kaz Lee. Our therapist is working on system communication with us with the goal of integration, but says we can't do EMDR before or we won't remember. The trauma will still be there. EMDR with DID is a bit of a controversial topic because some specialists say yes, DID and EDMR, great combination, really, really helpful for sorting through trauma. Others say do not do EDMR with DID because it can lead to system flooding. There's a reason why they don't remember those memories yet. There's a reason why certain alters hold them. And yes, it's possible to have those memories come up, be worked through or stuff like that in things like EDMR, or then be brought up and it just floods the system and not be ready to be worked on and then forgotten, and the only thing that it's done is dysregulated the system. So it is complex. If that's what your therapist is right. If they're starting with system communication, that is the best place to start. That was also what advice we were given by the first organisation that diagnosed us, who are specialists. In the therapy plan they gave us, it was first of all, work on system communication, finding parts, getting to a safe place. Then you start to deal with trauma stuff. But I don't think that it's possible if your therapist is using the term integration in terms of fusion, sometimes in order for fusion to happen, trauma needs to be worked through. But the thing is that it's different for every system, which is why things like this and therapeutic advice sometimes can be complicated, because what will work for one system, or what might have worked for certain systems in one study, might not work for another system, or for example systems in different studies. So it is complicated. But yeah, my advice from a non-therapy perspective, like non-professional perspective, would be working on system communication is definitely the first thing, and the most important thing to build a baseline, because you need contact with your alters to be able to support each other when you're working through therapy. Because if you're still at each other's throats, or there's not really that much connection there, and then you're trying to deal with difficult emotions and situations that are being brought up from trauma, it's going to be messy, and it could damage your system relationships. So be careful. Thank you for coming, Georgie and Jeremy. I'd be interested to read them, Kirsty. My psychiatrist has written 2 papers on EMDR and flash therapy and complex PTSD. I'd be really interested to read those. If you have access to them. Should we do eyeshadow? Keep getting distracted, sorry. For the EMDR stuff, our psych wants to do it straight away without having done other stuff. Do not do that. Absolutely not. That's really, really, really bad advice. Never go straight into trying to unlock trauma memories before you have a safe foundation. And, you know, you're already safe in yourselves, you're safe in your environment, you have your supports, you have your networks, you have your understanding of your DID and your other alters in your system, at least some of them. You need a base, because if you're doing EDMR and you start to uncover trauma memories, it is going to dysregulate you. There is no way to unlock trauma memories and not be affected by it. EDMR is eye movement desensitization. I can't remember what order it is. Yes, it is hard to find good help with the UK. If you are going to do EDMR or EMDR therapy, make sure you are prepared and you are safe for trauma memories to come up. And also, one of the issues that has been raised with that therapy in DID systems, like I said, some people say it's good, some people say it's not, for DID, is that it can sort of force memories to come to front that certain alters are holding on to. And there's a reason that the host is not aware of those memories yet, and there's a reason that that person, that alter, is holding on to them. And it could re-traumatize the alter that's holding them as well. It's incredibly complicated. I would absolutely not suggest going straight into it before anything else. I don't think EMDR is a pseudoscience. That's it. Eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Thank you, Kaz. But again, we're not therapists, but we are the patients. We've only had it done on us once, and that was because I came into therapy, Kaya, and almost immediately, like I was fine before coming to therapy, and almost immediately dissociated to shit. Like, I was so far gone, and I could hear somebody crying, and I was like, this is really weird. This is really weird, because I was fine. Why am I hearing crying, and why has it happened right now as soon as we saw this therapist, right? And I could not get any information. I couldn't get them to front. I couldn't get hold of any other alters. I didn't know what was going on. I was just shutting down and hearing this crying. And my therapist was like, well, who is it? And I was like, couldn't really talk very well, but I was like, I don't know. I can't see anything. All I can hear is this crying. And it wasn't like I'm sad crying. It was like screaming agonizing crying, like something really horrible is happening crying. It was really distressing. Thank you, Matty. And that's when she did EMDR with us, and it was just, she pulled something up on the screen and it was watching a ball go back and forth across the screen, and I think there was a sound, I don't remember it super clearly. We had to tap on our shoulders with the thing, and it was to encourage this other alter to front to get that process happening, because we were stuck. Sort of, I guess it was stuck between a switch maybe. And that is how we found one of our alters who holds some memory of trigger warning. I'm not going to go into anything detail, but I will be using terms of things. Who has more memory of kidnappings. And like, I'm aware that happened at least once, because I remember the first part of it at least once as Chloe. Don't remember what happened afterwards, after being put in the car, in the boot. Don't remember getting home. Don't remember what happened. Remember when I was let out, but apparently this happened multiple times, with different groups of men. And this person, this alter, remembering it, had no idea she was an alter. She didn't know where we were, but she knew that we were in the same area, which we are. We still live in the same area that we were raised in. But she didn't know she was an alter. She didn't understand. I still don't think that she understands. And that's the only time I've ever heard from her. I was given a name by the therapist. I wrote it down. I cannot remember what it is, but it's written down somewhere on our system map. But yeah, not all alters are aware that they're alters. Some alters are stuck in time periods of trauma that happened. And really do just, I guess you'd call her a fragment, kind of like Murmur is, exist to hold on to it. Nice. It's no good to go into a cave if you don't have a torch and a sturdy blade. Yes. Was Chloe conscious in the inner world during periods of amnesia before she knew the DID diagnosis, or was it like complete blackout every time? It was a complete blackout, but it also wasn't like a complete blackout. So I just would not remember that there was periods of amnesia. My brain would completely skip over it. And it like, this still happens to us. Like, I won't realise that I've got periods of time missing until someone will bring my attention to it, or for some reason I realise, because someone's like, well, I was talking to you at like 3 p.m. or whatever, and I was like, what was I doing at 3 p.m? And they'll tell me something and I won't realise. Like, my brain has just filled it in for me, the same way that your brain fills in blinking. You don't remember black space when you blink. Your brain skips ahead or behind a couple of milliseconds and fills it in your memory. Now you're probably aware that there's a black space every time you're blinking. It's the same kind of thing. That's not something I'm going to go into detail about, the kidnappings. We've spoken about it a little bit on TikTok, which, interestingly, is how we realised that is actually what happened, because there was a trend that was like, oh, you know, talk about something where you thought something was going to be fine, and then it really wasn't fine. And I was like, oh, I remember that time where, you know, like 3 guys came to my house, told me I needed to look at their new car and wouldn't take no for an answer, and then they drove me somewhere, and then they took my phone off me and lifted me up and locked me in the boot of their car, drove me somewhere, and I don't remember. That was the first time. But I remember that. I remember being lifted up. And I know that this happened because I reached out to the guy who let me out of the boot in the end. And he was as scared of these other guys as I was. He let me out. And again, as Kai, I only remember this very first time, which I guess was probably kind of like a test for some of them. And this guy who let me out wasn't there the other times. I asked him whether that was what happened. I didn't ask him being like, I remember this, that. Is that true? I said, do you remember the day when this happened and something else happened on that day? And he said, yes. And I said, do you remember the car? Or being put in? Why is it hard to believe? If they figured out that they could do it. We were very, very short, small. And these guys had been abusers of ours for many years at that point, before that started. We were teenagers at that point. We weren't like babies. We were teenagers. And he was like, yeah, I remember being really scared when they put you in the boot of the car. And I remember letting you out of the car. And I was like, right. And then he sent me some, I think, information. But yeah, he wasn't in contact with them by that point. And again, I never thought of that as kidnapping. I thought, oh, you know, some wankers took my phone off me and locked me in the boot of their car, and I don't really remember what happened next. So that's a funny thing. And then everyone online was like, that's kidnapping. And we were like, no, no, don't be stupid. No. But then obviously the longer things have gone on, the more we remember, or are slightly aware that apparently other things happened, and that was just like the first time that happened. But yeah. Went back to school or college the next day like nothing was wrong. Because I didn't really remember it. I didn't really know that was something that was that traumatic, because it was just like, well, that was really unpleasant. But obviously there's other people who hold the memory of whatever happened afterwards. I remember some bits, like right before being put in the boot of the car, that were really unpleasant. That was SA. But like apparently there's more. So it's just little things like that, you know. You start to learn awareness of things, and other alters will hold individual things, but they might not necessarily be aware that they're alters, or that time's passed, or anything like that, really. It's complicated. But again, I think I was 17. Yeah, because, yeah, I would have been 17. So in like school and college. Because you have to be 17 to drive here in the UK. And they'd just got their first car. One of these guys had just got their first car. But this guy was like already a dodgy guy. One of the guys had been an abuser of ours all the way through school. Like physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, all that stuff. Real bad. For a very long time. And the other guy hadn't been an abuser for as long, but his was more physically violent, whereas the other guy was a bit more sadistic, thought he was in love with us type stuff. Very psychologically sadistic. Both of them came from abusive homes, but the guy with the car was the more physically abusive one, and he was also like a drug dealer and stuff like that by the time we got to college, so already like a bit dodge. Again, I've got no emotional connection to any of this at all. I don't think I can. I know that he's an arsehole. I know that both of them were arseholes. And I know that teachers didn't give a fuck. I confronted one of our teachers about it once in high school. I should write some of this down, man. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I actually remember more than I realise I do. There's just so much of it that it gets lost. Haven't watched Eurovision, no. DID is caused by trauma as a child, but that doesn't necessarily mean in all cases, because we do see people assuming this, that it must be the parents. I'm not going to talk about our family because we don't talk about that. But like, there are loads of videos from people who have DID who do like interviews with their parents. Some of them are involved, some of them were just a bit neglectful, and some of them didn't really have that much to do with it. They just, you know, it's not always the parents. Sometimes it can be cousins, it can be babysitters, it can be school teachers, it can be gangs and groups, it can start from anything. It just has to be repeated, and there has to be not a stable connection to the primary caretakers. But you know, some people don't even have parents. Some people are abused within like the adoptive system and stuff. It's complicated. It's very complicated, and it's not fair to simply assume that every system was created or experienced their upbringing in the same way. DID can also be caused from repeated traumas like natural disasters, medical abuse, and things like that. And when there is amnesia, even if the child did have supportive, kind, loving parents, you know, they might have been told, do not tell, or threatened not to tell. We were threatened not to tell. And then obviously the host didn't even remember anyway. So it might not necessarily mean that the people in your life didn't care about you. Sometimes it's a lot more complicated than that. Yes, sorry, the nasty topics are done now. Sorry, I kind of got swept into it a little bit. It feels kind of freeing to talk about it sometimes because nobody listened or believed us when we talked about the less intense things that was happening. Or even saw some of the less intense things that were happening. So now to be able to talk about it and be like, yeah, this is actually what happened and it wasn't okay, and have people listen is very healing for me, because I hate those people. I don't have enough emotion about it to feel that really strongly, but sometimes I get very angry. I have the papers. Please could you email them to us at contact@dissociative.com. That would be really amazing. Thank you so much. The more I learn from you and what you've been through, the more it goes to show just how strong you are and just how resilient you are. I'm so sorry you've been through this, but know that you're strong and safe. Thank you. It doesn't feel that way to us because it just feels like that's what happened, you know? We have to deal with it, and that's just how it is. We don't feel exceptionally strong or different or anything like that. It's just we don't know anything else. So I understand to a level that for some people that might sound like wild, but for us it's just, well, that's what it always has been. We'd never known any different, you know? What is a subsystem? Subsystems are, they can be, yeah, we can try and make a video on that, honestly. It's a bit of a complicated topic because, again, it's kind of different for every system. Or subsystem. Thank you for joining the stream, lovely. I think you guys are amazing. Keep up the work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Do appreciate that. I've messed up my eyebrows royally because I'm not paying full attention to what is happening right now. I think it's time for a hydration check. Everybody have some tea or something. Okay, in this video we're going to have wacky as F eyebrows because these are not... These look weird as hell. Very strange. Absolutely not matching. Not even close. Not even close. What is happening here? Those are completely different. I always try and follow my natural eyebrow, but my natural eyebrows aren't even anyway. Now I just feel like I'm going like that. How do I fix this, guys? And also my camera is swapped. So when I'm reaching for what I think is my left, the camera is showing it as my right, which is making me even more confused. Oh, whatever, man. Oh, whatever. Oh, Pixie Locks here. Hi, Pixie Locks. I'm having a struggle with my eyebrows. A real struggle. If talking about it helps, then talk as much as you need to. We only worry you might push yourself hard and might not feel safe. We're okay, but thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the kindness. It's Kaya and I think someone else, but I don't know who, and I cannot actually give you any information because I'm not sure. Yeah, there's no fixing this. Whatever I have done, it's I've done something. It's a look. It's not necessarily a good one, but it's a look. Does mango juice count for hydration? I would say yes. I think that that's great hydration. Drink from my enormous water bottle with me. Okay. What kind of eye makeup should I do to destroy my enemy? While I talk about the update on the channel. What do you think? What kind of look should I be going for here? You can't see anything wrong with the eyebrows? Good. I can. How is Mango the cat? She's good. She was in the stream earlier, actually. She's doing well, and so is Serafina. Serafina, like, leaves us alone generally while we're working, but then, like, when we're sat on the sofa and stuff like that, she'll demand cuddles, whereas Mango is the kind of cat who always wants to be in your business, which is why she's always on the channel, because she always just needs to be right. Wow! Okay, I saw two lots of reds. Black and blue, red, red, red and black, purple. I'm seeing a lot... Ooh, floral and green, that's interesting. I'm seeing a lot of red, but I also kind of love the green idea, because it's a bit revenge vibes, isn't it? Selena said red and black and said please. So I think we might have to do red. Okay, we can do that. I don't have the brush that I want. I've only got 3 brushes here. I don't know where all my brushes have gone. I'll have to use just this brush and hope for the best. Okay, okay. Okay, we'll do like a red. Okay, I'm going to do a transition first with like a very light ashy brown colour. Can I get a DID diagnosis from trauma therapy? If they're able to give you a DID diagnosis, then yeah, as long as they're, you know, a professional. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Graphic liner. Ooh, what kind of graphic liner? Haven't done that in ages, if I ever have. Have I ever done that? I do not know. Gold and red, that's a nice idea. What enemy are we destroying? The guy who took us to court. We have an update on that, which will be coming out tomorrow, which I'm going to film after this live stream. And if you want to catch up with it, we have I'm not sure actually if it's in a playlist. I'll put it in a playlist, but we have any of our legal update videos that start with the video called What Happened to DissociaDID, Our Videos. That will give you all the information you need to get up to date. The videos in that like series. To let you know what's going on, what you missed. What he do? Would you be comfortable making a video on how your sexuality is shifted with different fusions? Sure. Didn't really change that much between Nin and Chloe. They were both hypersexual and pansexual, I believe. I think before Chloe... Yeah, I think Chloe used the term bisexual at some points and then switched to pansexual. But yeah, they both had the same sexuality, same hypersexuality too. Kyle, I didn't really use any. I wasn't really a boxes kind of guy as Kyle. If I loved you, that kind of thing. But you know, I was only really ever in love with one person. Well, two people actually, if you count Nian. I suppose that was love. And then me now, I am on the asexual spectrum, but still hypersexual. So I don't experience sexual attraction to other people, but I still am hypersexual in the way my brain works, and that's trauma related. But I don't get sexually aroused by other people, which is probably also trauma related. If I loved you, then you are a box. Is it Emmy Awareness Day? Well, shit. I have Emmy. Just want to say your makeup skills are absolute fire and you inspired me to practice mine, and now I look just as hot as heck when I go out. Thank you, Kai. Good for you. I'm glad for you. I feel my 12-year-old has DID, but I'm not sure because she's closed off after her traumatic experience from ages 5 to 10. What signs should I look for? Is she in therapy? Were they in therapy? She says she, sorry. Is she in therapy? Because I would highly recommend getting her into therapy. If she's 12 is kind of a difficult age anyway. She's going to be going through changes. I'd say look out for, changes in what she remembers or talks about and her personality and things, and whether any amnesia, high levels of dissociation. But if she has already gone through those traumatic experiences, she could already have PTSD or CPTSD. So be careful, because CPTSD and PTSD can also come with memory loss. I'd keep note maybe of symptoms that you notice that do align with DID. I can't think of anything specific that I can tell you from my personal experience that wouldn't be things that you probably already know from research just about DID. And we do have a video though on how to help support people with DID if they do, which would probably help them anyway, regardless of whether they do or don't. Don't know if anyone else has any suggestions. That's rough. I'm really sorry. I hope she's okay. Thank you, Amy. I'm really glad that we could help. Is Amira still around? I haven't heard from her since Sally's video on non-human alters. Much love to you. Stay safe. Yeah, she's an age slider, so a lot of the time she's small nowadays, and for the last couple of years, which is why we don't really speak about her, because now more often than not we would consider her to be a little, but not always. So it's a bit complicated there on where the lines are about sharing information about her, so I won't really say very much except from she's okay and she's doing good. She's okay and she's doing good. Okay, I think that's enough of transition stuff. And then we're doing reds, aren't we? So if I do a bit more of a transition with sort of a purpley red colour, which is called Slasher. Slasher. Hi Nyla, how was your night? Just woke up. That's a vibe. That is a vibe. Oh, we've spoken so run the idea through our heads so many times about the idea of writing a book, but we've never really started. We go back and forth on it and what we'd want to do and whether it's actually a good idea, and because there's so little There are so many options for us, but we'd be limited if we were going to do like our own story type thing, as in our life story. We're limited on what we could say because, you know, some people who write books, their abusers have passed away. Or, you know, they could talk about it because it's not, you know, using fake names and things like that, but it's always a risk. But then other things, like if we were to do like an educational type book, we could do that. It'd be a lot much less interesting for us to write, because that's what we do all the time with DissociaDID, is just in video content instead of, sorry, video format instead of written format. This is going to be a very sick 2016 look. I think I've gone a bit too heavy-handed with the pigment. Kneecapper. Oh my god, yes! Jesus, I had to think for a second about what that was. I was like, I know that sounds familiar, but what? Yes, we can do that. That was on Genshin, right? One of our friends has recently, as in like literally within the last couple of days, started playing Genshin, and it's made us want to start playing again. You're part of my bisexual awakening because I've discovered I'm attracted to women who look like they could crush me and won't, but I want it. I'm glad to have been a part of your sexual awakening. You're welcome, and I'm very honoured. I'm watching my friends and peers graduate today after I had to drop out in 2021 due to COVID obliterating my mental health, but you've been such a help in my recovery journey, and I'm proud to say I got my dream job and I'm financially stable enough to donate. Oh my god, that's a lot as well. Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of you. That's enormous. Congratulations. And we can relate to how difficult it can be to see other people like graduating and things when you weren't able to. For us, because of our mental health as well, and then because that opportunity was taken from us really after we got our diagnoses. But look at what you've done. You should be so proud of yourself. Congratulations, and thank you. Yeah, I think if we were going to write like our system story, it would mainly be, at least first and foremost for us, as processing things. And then if we ever wanted to try and adapt it into a book or something for raising awareness, or for our story to be out there, or to inspire other survivors, or even just help continue to educate on dissociative identity disorder, then we would do that. But it's most of our time that we have, like active time where we're well enough to do something like that, we spend doing videos or live streams and stuff like that. So there's not really that much time like left over, you know, to focus on doing other things like that. But now that we've had our med change and we're doing better and are a bit healthier, maybe we could. Maybe we could. Maybe we shouldn't knock it before we try it, huh? The Target Pride merch is out, and there is a shirt that says Live, Laugh, Lesbian. Phenomenal. Wow, that's camp. It's definitely something. That was too pigmented. How do I fix that? I fucked that up. I look like I've got a black eye. This is what I'm on about. When I was doing makeup as like Chloe and Nin, it just came so naturally, and now it's like no matter what I do, I'm somehow feel like I'm doing it wrong, or I do something and it just goes wrong. I'm on a grind. I ain't got time for a book. Trying to make rent, bro. No, okay, I'm just gonna have to do some really intense like eyelashes or liner or something to try and sort this out. I didn't do concealer under my eyes. That's alright. If you could eliminate one weakness, what would it be? My chronic fatigue. I want that shit gone. I want to feel awake and not exhausted all the time. I'd love to be able to have full use of my body. I'd love to be able to physically do things that the average person can do. That. I wouldn't necessarily call it a weakness, but it's physically makes me feel weak in terms of what I can physically do. I hope you can finish your song. Me with my music right now. I'm grinding. I don't have time to finish my song. You can do it. You can do it. You can. I believe in you. Kyle's makeup skills are showing then, but it still looks very good. Thank you. Cut me with that eyeshadow wing higher, big slay moment actually. Thanks, darling. Not sure about that. Okay, we're going to move on to the red. And just pray, really. Just hope for the best. I'm terrified. Ooh. Okay. Don't know about this. Don't know about this, lads. I'm nervous. This could make or break everything. It's very red. It's called Mikai. Ooh. Any tips for dealing with an anxiety attack lasting several days? I feel like it will never go away. I'm so sorry. I know how that feels. And it's horrible. It will pass. It will go away. I promise. Have you been able to identify what is causing it or adding to it? Is it being online? Is it being around certain people? Is it a food or a feeling or a temperature or the environment? If you can't identify anything, identify things that have made you feel better in the past and see if any of those help. That could be things like techniques, textures, temperatures, things like that, but also people or activities. And if you need to just shut yourself away from everything for a couple of days, you can do that. I'm so sorry, but I promise, even if it feels like nothing's touching it and it's not going to go away, it will go away. It will end. I'm sorry, I know how exhausting that is. We've been following you since you were in Anthony's channel, and it's been like a safe space for us. We decided to look for therapy and are now working, we are working on us. Thank you so much, you inspired us. Thank you for being here for so long, and I'm really glad that this could be like a safe place for you, and I'm really, really, really glad that you're able to look for therapy now and that you're working on yourselves. That's fantastic. Congratulations on making that step. This looks more like a pink than a red. It's definitely red in the pan. I can build the colour, I can make it more red, it'll be fine. Okay, that's more red. Okay. Well, they're definitely colours. They're definitely colours. Very bright colours. I am going to make it a darker, like a darker browny black or something towards the end of the crease. And I'm also going to throw eyeliner and lashes on there. Ooh, there was still a lot of purple pigment on there. Hold on. Makeup is just an experiment half the time for us. Like, we never really go into it with much of a plan. We just sort of do what we feel like doing. And sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't go well. But that's okay because there are no rules. There are no rules. It is just art and it is just fun. Use orange to fade into the transition. What if we did like yellow in the inner corner? What if we did sunset vibes? Thank you, Child of Aphrodite. That's like the 3rd time you donated this stream. We love you. Thank you. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere here. Something is happening. A look is coming. It's appearing from the shadows. I was scared for a bit. I was like, I don't really know where this is going. It's looking all a bit crazy, but trust the process. Have any tips to deal with physical anxiety when you're working or not able to stop? As in like the physical feeling of anxiety or getting anxious over your physical well-being? Anxiety over working is rough. Sometimes we push ourselves too hard, and we know other people who push themselves too hard with working, because that's the society we live in, and we've all got to pay rent and things like that. And like the people I know who do push themselves too hard are generally in unreliable jobs and things like that, or they are so like they don't feel like they have the option to stop pushing. But also some people are just really, really driven and perfectionist and really, really want to do the best all the time. And I think it's a big journey to learn how to let go of some of that stuff, because it's not easy. But learning that there's only so far you can go to get ahead of yourself has eased some of our anxiety. There's only so far you can push before life will catch up with you again. And it is to some extent going to be out of your control, but not in a terrifying way. It's okay to take a break. And it's okay to just let it go. And you're going to be fine either way. Thank you, Eloise. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Oh, that is red. Maybe there was like some pink on the brush beforehand or something, because it was coming out pink at first, but this is definitely red. What were we thinking about the sunset vibes? I do have a yellow in this palette that I've never touched, so I don't know how pigmented it's going to be. And also I've only really got this one eyeshadow brush, so we're using all the same eyeshadow brush for different colours. Oh, thank you. I felt like that was terrible advice, but I'm trying my best. Thank you, Katie. Oh my god, I love that sticker so much. Look at the little boy. Adorable. What's the longest you had an alter go away for? Like dormant? Probably a decade or so. But then again, I'm not always aware when certain alters are fronting, so while I may have assumed they were dormant that long, they may actually not have been. Did the sunset? I hear you, Pixie Locks. It's sunset vibes today. Because the sun is setting on my enemy. According to the court. Sneaky funds for the mods to keep track of a question list. Is there anything a non-system can do to make a system feel welcome and safe to be them? We have a video that we made ages ago, like Chloe made years ago, on like how to support a system and how to be there for a system. But that's actually a really important and good question, and we might make an updated video on something like that that's more specific to your question. I think that's a fantastic idea. Thank you. The title. Yes, well. Yes. It has to end sometime. The sun is setting. We are in the final leg of this lawsuit. It's only been 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. It is time for the sun to set on this era of our life. Okay. I think it's yellow time. What do you think? Please, Celine, that would be incredible. Is this petty, or is this just not dealing with shit? Siri? Why is Siri is telling me about incredible record music entertainment? Why? Okay. Yeah, 3 years for a disclaimer and some comments and like tiny bits of scripts. It's crazy. All because we said no. We said no. I can guarantee that he would still have been working with us. As in like would still have wanted to be working with us had we not continually rejected his advances. Because that was his last straw thing. It was, well, if you keep refusing to give me more affection, I'm going to stop working for you. Or working with, he wasn't working for us. I'm going to stop helping you, that's what he said. And we were like, let's part ways then, because we're not giving you more affection. And then he was like, I'm suing you! I'm suing you! But before that... Yes. During therapy yesterday, I had a flashback for the first time. It kind of ruined my whole day. Do you have any advice for recovery? Take it slow and take it easy. There is no timeline for getting over stuff like that. Sometimes we'll have a flashback and it'll hit us so hard and feel so terrible that it will take us like days to weeks or longer to really feel okay again. So don't put a timeline on it for yourself is what I would say initially. It is normal for it to ruin your whole day. It is normal to really struggle with it. Stuff like this isn't easy. You don't have to just bounce back. Nobody's going to expect you to. And if they do, then they're dumb. And tell them that Dissociative would tell them that they're dumb. And that you deserve as much time as you need to just either sit with it or distract from it. Write about it. Talk about it to a camera to process it in yourself. And sometimes that helps you get the feeling out. And get what you think about it out, and nobody ever has to see it. You can either save it or you can delete it afterwards. We do stuff like that a lot, even if it's just voice messages. If life gets too stressful, I feel life forces me to revert into a childlike state. Is there any way to control this? Have you looked at age regression? Because it sounds like you might be age regressing. Could be wrong, but if that's not something you've looked into, then maybe that would be helpful if it's something you feel like you relate to. Okay, we're gonna be doing the yellow, aren't we? This is like bright yellow, like neon highlighter yellow. And again, hi babes. I don't know how pigmented it's gonna be. I'm trying to clean my brush off of my head. I'm a professional. Have you ever considered making a Discord? People have been asking us to make a Discord for years and we've always said no. Because I don't feel like we could have an enclosed space like that that's under our name where we could make a commitment to keeping people safe, because there would be Yolta, please! Because there would be so many people in there. And we'd need so many mods and things like that, and it would be out of our control, but we would feel extremely responsible for everyone in there, and it just frightens us. I don't feel like it would be responsible of us to do that when we couldn't take on the commitment of moderating and keeping people safe. Okay, that's a real soft yellow. Okay. Let's try and get some pigment on here. Yo, Pixie Locks, you do amazing brightly coloured makeup all the time. What brands do you use for like pigmented yellows and things like that? Because we always find that a difficult one to get a pigmented colour for. If anybody doesn't know who Pixie Locks are, they are an amazing system with an incredible style, and they have DID. They have a YouTube channel and a TikTok and probably some other social medias as well. You should go and check them out. Very good. Thank you, Fulton. Colourpop. I don't know if we have anything by Colourpop actually. I think we had a Colourpop lipstick once, but I think that's about as far as it went. Okay, this is building. That is building into a yellow. Can we see that? This is giving Chloe vibes. This is giving... Chloe's hair used to be this colour. We Love You Too. In, like, our very first videos, it was, like, purple and pink and yellow. I feel like a peacock. Have you ever tried having your alters make themselves as characters in Sims to express how they look in the inner world? Yeah, we actually had a video of that. It's not up anymore. Because I think a little's name was said in it. And also... yeah, I think that was why we took it down. But we can try and make another one. It's been on our list for a little while, actually. Oh, there is an orange in this palette. Called Redemption. We're going to be adding some orange to this, I think. I like how I was like, oh, we're going to jump on for a quick, like, hour-long stream, do some minimal makeup, and then film and edit. And now I'm like, I'm going to become a human sunset. And I think that's all right. You created your own IMSG system, chat with memojis, and use Snapchat memories for locks. Everything is locked. That's really interesting. That sounds like a really smart way to do that. That's smart as hell, actually. We don't use Snapchat. Maybe we should. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to speak when I'm poking in the corner of my eye. It's making me a bit nervous. Okay, okay. Progress is happening, guys. The sunset look is happening. I do want to put some orange on it. Simply because the name is Redemption. What do we think of that at the minute? What enemy are we destroying here today? We are destroying the person who took us to court, because tomorrow there will be an update video on it. With some tea. Okay, that has no pigment. Okay, we're dipping out. The orange is not going to happen because there was just nothing came off of that. I think it might be because I've put too many eyeshadow layers on, maybe. Okay, well, that's good enough. Oh, it works on the under eye. Okay, okay. Okay, we've got orange under the eye. Yes. 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 Starburst vibes? It's giving Sweeties, isn't it? Sweeties vibes. What eyeliner shape are you going to do? Good question. What should I do? Should I do something unusually fancy? What do you think? Or should I just do a normal eyeliner shape? Ooh, ouch. EDS sounds painful. I think Kyle is actually secretly an elf. I do have slightly pointed ears inside. Kyle did as well. Mine are a bit more pointed than Kyle's were. We think that Kyle may have had that trait from... We used to watch Peter Pan all the time as a kid. And Kyle had a similar kind of personality when he was younger as well. Very much the troublemaker, saviour, boy who never aged for a good period of time, who protected everybody in the system and fought off the bad guys. And he had slightly pointed ears, just like Peter Pan used to. Is it possible to have alters that are you at different stages of your life, as well as alters that don't connect to or don't fit in that category? Yes, absolutely. Shimmer in the corner. Corner? Shimmer in the corner. Yes. Shimmer in the corner. What colour? We've got our gold that we love, which is like a really nice gold. We have a sort of peach colour glitter. A pink glitter that's like a peachy pink. Okay, sorry. We've got, for glitter options in the middle, we've got a gold. We've got a white, which is really difficult to use, actually. It's just not pressed very well. A pink, a peach, and a purpley pink. What are we thinking? Well, that makes sense, Pixie Lots. We've seen people who have that mod as well, body mod, with like pointed ears and things. Gold, champagne, peachy pink. Can you show us the palette? I can show you the palette. Here you go. These are your options. Most people seem to be saying peach or gold. Gold, peach, gold, gold, gold. Wife. Gold in the corner. Gold because of the trophy. We're doing gold because we're winning. Okay, we'll do gold. Gold it is. Gold to win. Gold for success. Gold for... Yep. Gold it is. Okay, wait, which side of the brush did I even put this on? There we go. Okay, okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Yes, bitch. Sorry, excuse me. I might put that actually all over the eye because it's sheer shimmer. And then just have it really concentrated in the inner corner. It would definitely be a celebratory look, which is what we want. Okay. Sparkle days, yes. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. So beautiful that I became Australian for a second then. Beautiful. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's very sparkly and I love it. Put a light dusting over everything because I can. I feel like a fairy. This is giving me fairy vibes. Do we like it? We are golden. Can't wait to see the vid tomorrow. No, I was there watching the live. Yes, you'll see the makeup look and be like, I was there when that happened. I helped pick that makeup look. Yes, you did. Okay. We will let that speak for itself and do some eyeliner, I think. Let's start off with the basic wing and then we can see if we want to do anything more crazy, because there will be eyelashes going on, but the ones I've picked up aren't particularly big ones. Hydration check, everybody! Ooh. Okay. Thank you, Celine. You look like Elven royalty. Happy Puppy has a question that they repeated. Could you answer it if you have time? Yes, of course. What is the question? From Happy Puppy. No? Did you see Evangeline Skov's video reporting on the enemy's tweets? I did not. But we go into the tweets actually and respond to some of them as well, or are going to in tomorrow's video, with what is actually legally accurate, rather than what he said, which was not legally accurate. Where can I access the doc? Or is that what you were emailing me? If I check my email, will I see a doc? This is not a fully full, that jug, don't worry, otherwise we wouldn't be able to lift it either. Scary, okay. That also doesn't match. Everything is lopsided on my face today. We can work with it. Hi Kaya, question. One of our alters just found out they were being manipulated by a persecutor and now they are upset and trying to turn to old behaviours. They are an ex-persecutor. Any advice? Yes. Move forwards, not backwards. Just because you have made a mistake or something has... Sorry, hold on. Something has happened that has made you feel like you're taking steps backwards. Does not mean that you have to continue down that path. We had an experience like that with Demon, who has started to heal. And he spoke to another persecutor in another system. And it made him want to return to his persecutory behaviours. And he almost did for a while. But then he realised that it wasn't actually making him feel any better. The sense of control was familiar. The actions were familiar. And there was safety in that. But it was a dead road. There can be no growth from it. Because you already know what it is and what the results are and where it's going to take you. But you can't stay in that darkness forever. How to explain it to your friends? You could just send them one of our videos if you like. Our very first video was what we used to explain to our friends what our new diagnosis was. That's why we made it. I don't know if that would help. Because honestly, that's a really difficult thing to do. And also a hard question. And you're brave. I have no idea what goes on inside and it makes me feel like I'm making things up. Any advice? That's valid, and a lot of people feel like that. A lot of systems feel like that. It's difficult. It's difficult to be able to explain things to yourself and feel like things are real when you're constantly being kept in the dark. But if you were making things up, you would know about it. Because you would be intentionally making things up. You would be making plans on what you were going to say, what you were going to make up, and why you were going to do that. But that is a valid part of your disorder. That is the disorder. You know? Not knowing what's going on. You're real. Learning to trust in that is really, really difficult. Because it's hard to trust things blindly, and sometimes it feels like that's what you need to do when you don't have the answers. But you're not in it alone. Your system is going to help take care of you. It's not just you. Sorry, I'm leaning forward really heavily. You can't see what I'm doing. Okay, sorry, I'm going to be a bit quiet because it's hard to like move my mouth while I'm doing eyeliner. Okay. Not bad. Love for dim on, change is hard but worth it. Will I have to tell my family when I get diagnosed? I fear because they weren't aware of my trauma and they will not believe me. And my mum is emotionally abusive, so she will disregard us. It's up to you. If you don't feel like you want to, if you don't feel like you actively want to and that it's safe for you to do so, or you feel like you wouldn't be able to deal with a negative response, then you don't have to. You don't have to tell your family anything if you don't want to. Your medical diagnoses are your business. They're not entitled to it. It is up to you. It's whatever makes you feel safest. And if you don't feel safe, you don't need to tell them. And that doesn't make you a bad son, daughter, or child for not telling them. It is your life, your brain. Your medical diagnosis is yours. Okay, that'll do, because it's just going to have eyelashes put over them. Eyeliner looks wonky on me too. You just do the best you can, don't worry. Mama says she fronts when she's needed. Are alters able to take the front whenever they need or want to? Can you explain a bit how that works? Not really. Sometimes you get pulled to front to do certain things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always a choice. We can't like necessarily pick like, oh, I want to front right now and just be able to. But for some things like positive triggers and negative triggers and things, it's almost automatic. And Mama isn't necessarily out every time she's needed, but she will front to do her role. Not every time, but she won't necessarily front for any other reason. Is kind of what she meant by that. But Mama is also kind of dormant or semi-dormant for large parts of the year. So she's not the only person who is able to do those things. Questions in the Google Doc. Sure, darling. Where is my phone? Because I can check it if I go on my phone. And you emailed it to me, yeah? I'll have a look. I don't have any emails from you. Sorry. Not that I can see, not recent ones anyway. Kirsty, I got your email about the papers. Thank you very much. The Empress of Eyeliners, I do not feel like that. I feel like I'm terrible at eyeliner. I feel like Nin was okay at it. Am I actually in focus? I do not know. Shall we do some eyelashes? Really had to struggle saying that there. My email for DissociaDID is contact@dissociative.com. If you need to send us an email, but that's business inquiries only, please. Okay. I have my duo glue. I could try to do like making 2 points with eyeliner and stuff like that, but I feel like I feel like I need a ruler or something to make sure that the The lines are actually going to be straight, like the two dots would join in a straight line. Got cat fluff everywhere. Okay. Putting the glue on the eyelashes. Not very successfully from the looks of it. Hold on, let me focus. It's black glue on a black band, so I can't really see what I'm doing. My best. I'm doing my best. Okay, hopefully that will work. Let that get tacky. Do the other one. What did Evangelina say? Curious. Okay. That's a lot of glue on that one. Whoops. Okay. Let it go tacky. Usually I'd also use a hello all Melissas in chat. You need to try magnetic lashes. These are actually magnetic lashes, but we prefer using glue. Okay. Yes. Oh, that went on so well. That went on first try. Can you see it? It is on, I promise it's on my eye. I hate it, but these aren't the lashes we usually use. We usually use ones called Moonstone. These ones are called Diamond. They're a bit different. We've had all of them for years. I just reuse them all the time. But the Moonstone ones are my favourite ones. They're a bit thicker, fluffier. They're on. They are on. Is Vangelina in here? Hey, Vanja. Vanja? Just completely forgot the rest of your username. That's not correct. Oh, it's not staying on in the corner. Why? It's always the corner that it will start to peel off in. I don't know if it's because we have, like, a rounder shaped eye or just because we're dumb. Angelina, what did you say in your video? I'm curious. We've obviously, like, what we're going to say in the video that we're going to film after this, that's going to go up in tomorrow's video, has all been, you know, like, passed off to a lawyer to make sure that everything in it is correct and stuff like that. And we're also going to be sharing the screenshots of what the court actually sent us and sent him that he neglected to talk about, which basically proves pretty much everything he said in his tweet to be a complete, just not true. But I'm interested to see what you said without having that, like, extra info available, because it's always interesting to me to see what people think of him when the only information you have is, like, what he said. And it makes me happy when people can tell immediately that it's just not right. You know. Good luck studying. I just saw it before I took a swig that somebody needs to go study for their exams. Good luck. Good luck, good luck. Okay. I'm going to do this trick, right? This is a heat lip gloss and it plumps your lips. but it really plumps your lips. Like, we don't have much lips. We have sad old white person lips, like old lady white person lips. It's very distressing, and this makes them plump. And then we can put on some like lipstick or something. Oh, I don't know about any drama between other people. I don't know about any of that. Sorry. I'm not up to date. Yeah, I'll do a lipstick that's like a sort of a pinky brownie colour. Oh, it's not sticking on the corner. That's so annoying. It's going to really irritate me this whole time if I can't get that to stick down. Hold on. Hold on. We'll fix it. Please don't remember that as something I've said. We have sad old lady white person lips. It's very distressing. We do. We see so many people online who have these like gorgeous full lips, and ours are like, you need a bloody magnifying glass to see what's going on when we speak. And it looks like we're not even moving our mouth that often, like when we speak. We are. There's just not much of it to move. What's the product to somebody who also has tiny old white lady lips? This is Fenty Heat, and it is one of the only plumping things that we've found that actually works. Almost too well for us, because it looks weird on our face afterwards. But we also used to use Sexy Mother Plumper or something like that by Benefit. Was it Benefit? I don't think it is Benefit. Maybe it was Benefit. They have one. Dumb, whiny, spoiled baby man. You need a magnifying glass for me too, and that's after filler? What a mood. I didn't know you'd had filler. What's it like? Is it as scary as it looks? We're scared of needles. So would be. That's it, Mother Pucker. Sexy Mother Pucker by Soap and Glory. That's it. We bought it because of the name, but also they smell so good. This doesn't really. Does this have a smell? This smells a bit like mint, actually. Actually, it smells a lot like mint. This smells like mint. This smells of mint. It's quite nice. I'm going to see how much of a difference, or if a difference. I can feel it burning along the sides of my lips. That's the other thing about this, is that it makes my lips redder, and like the outline of my lips redder, because it's irritating them. Like you can see there, it's starting to get quite red. It doesn't hurt, it's just like being scratched a bit, I think. I guess. Had a panic attack beforehand, but it doesn't hurt because they use lidocaine and the swelling goes down after a day. Very glad I did it. Awesome! I haven't looked at your face recently, except from a TikTok filter that you just did, which looks very cute. But other than that, I haven't looked at your face without a filter for a while, so I'll watch this video that you've made after I filmed mine, so I'm not impacted. But, well, I could be anyway, because I had to run it past lawyers. But, to see what's on her lips, it is Fenty Beauty Heat. It is the clear one with gold glitter in it. I'll let it do its thing, and then Spicy Pain. And then I'll use this, which is a very old Jeffree Star thing, because we don't support Jeffree Star, but he does make good shit, which is quite sad. Which is called Gemini, but it's a different Gemini from the lipsticks that he does. Like, this is a different, it doesn't look the same colour. Okay, maybe I can. If your protectors are banning you access from the inner world, there's probably a reason, and you shouldn't fight it quite yet. Thank you, Celine. Enjoy feeding the birds. But why is it spicy? Okay, let me go check, and then we'll put this lipstick stuff on. Thank you, Celine. Woo! Are these ones that we haven't answered, or are these just all of them? Oh god, there are so many. Okay. Whoa, big question, one of them there. Okay. This one new to the concept. So from what I've learned, alters sort of have their own appearance. Do they interpret the physical shell differently, or do they just have a mental body? Everybody's aware that what our body looks like. Yeah, almost all of our Jeffree Star stuff is from like 2016. We have a couple of other things like this that was from a bit later on, but like that was the era in 2016. It was all Jeffree Star stuff. Yeah, every alter that I know, at least, is able to tell that this body looks different. And, you know, when you look at it in a mirror, you see this body. Sometimes you can see a bit of an overlay of, like, what you want your face to look like or what your face looks like inside, or bits of the differences. If you're dissociating really hard, that's happened to us for, like, a couple of times. And, but yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. Everybody has their own internal view of themselves and will look differently in the inner world unless they don't. I have a genuine question. How do you handle the other energies your body holds? Is it overwhelming? Not entirely sure what you mean by energies. I guess it is, because, for example, when Nadia was in our system and other more energetic alters that we have, because we have CFS, ME, and some other physical issues, our body's energy levels are low on their own. And then when you get alters who come into front who have a lot of energy, want to use a lot of energy, it just exhausts the body. So that can be really difficult. Do you know the brain mechanism of age sliding? What is your understanding of it? Did you experience it at some point? Love to your system. I can only talk really about age difference within DID rather than outside of DID, because I haven't really researched it that much outside of DID. I know it's a thing. This is spicy enough on my mouth that it's making my nose run. What was I saying? But yeah, we have a video on littles, which I think also goes into age sliding within DID. And that's called, I think we called it the Eternal Child, like Can Alters Age, or something like that. And that goes into that if you want to watch that. I think that was Nin who made that. Either Nin or Chloe. Have you tried growing things like veggies? It might seem like a lot, but in my experience, growing things has helped me clear my mind and start a process of non-isolation. When we were recovering from 2020 stuff, but before we got the cats, we bought loads of houseplants. And that was like a big thing for us, was like taking care of the plants and encourage them growing and you know, like grooming the plants, as in like, you know, cutting off all the dead leaves and stuff like that. But we've never tried to grow, we had to get rid of pretty much all of them because we got the cats, but recently I've been wanting a couple more. So we've bought 2 for our office redo thing as like a homage to the big plant that we used to have in our old videos, but they're cat friendly ones, like as in they're not toxic to animals or anything. So we're going to do that, but we've never tried growing vegetables. We tried growing herbs, and that was fun, but never vegetables. Maybe we should try, but again, it would be, Mango eats everything. Like, she will try to eat everything that she can find. So that's another, ooh, would it be safe for her? Yes, we still do have our guinea pigs, yeah. The questions are changing. What order are you adding these in? What's happening? I'll just go through as many as I can. Thank you, by the way, for mods who are up keeping this document. We love you. You are incredible. Would you feel comfortable making a video on how your sexuality or just taste in partner has shifted with different fusions? I think we answered that one earlier. With, like, for example, I am now on the asexual spectrum and I'm also still hypersexual. And I'm not going to tell you what foods are triggering negatively for which alters, but we have alters who have, like, food preferences that could be positive triggers occasionally. So for example, for me, Swiss rolls, not necessarily a positive trigger, but I really, really, really like them. Jade is pretty much the only person in the system that I'm aware of who will willingly eat or seek out eating nuts. Yeah, we did answer the sexuality and partners question earlier, so That's good. That's if you want to watch this back on YouTube, we do go into that one. We've been live for 2.5 hours. What the frick? We answered that one. Rating since Chloe. Yeah, glass still exists in our system. She's an internal protector who protects the alters who live in the forest areas. She can sort of fly over it and takes care of it like that. She's a non-human alter. She's a fairy who has wings that are made of like shattered glass and hair that's made of shattered glass. We don't really drink alcohol, so we don't have any token beer drinking boys, but that's funny. We will occasionally have like maybe a little bit of wine or something if we're celebrating something out at a meal, but we don't drink alcohol, so not for us, sorry. Did you lose friends when you got diagnosed? I have recently been diagnosed with ADHD and many of my friends left me. I'm so sorry. That's horrible. They were not good friends. And we lost friends not when we were diagnosed with DID, but right before we were diagnosed with DID, when we didn't have answers for it, when we were really, really sick. And that was when we'd moved away from university, so moved away from the area of our abuse. And the DID became extremely obvious, and we started to become aware of it, and alters started to act up in front and introduce themselves because we were in a completely different space. And that's really normal with any trauma survivors. Once you move away from the space that was the area of your trauma, for it to all sort of come up. And we did lose friends in that period because we just kept trying to unalive a lot, and we were not healthy people to be around. We lost our relationship, which to be fair I think probably should have ended anyway, with our boyfriend at the time, who we are in contact with again now. Like we've befriended each other again like 6 years after, and like we're really good friends now. So not because of the DID, but there were obviously people who didn't understand it, or who weren't willing to understand it, and we just let those friendships die out because obviously it is who we are. It's a big part of our life. It is our life. It's who we are. And if people who aren't willing to accept that, or aren't at least willing to be kind about it, then they're not worth being in your life, because whoever they think they're friends with isn't actually you. So the trash is taking itself out, essentially, if these people have left you because of your ADHD. They do not deserve that place in your life. You deserve people who will love you and care for you as you are, who you are, no matter what affects the way your brain works. You will find the people who deserve to be in your life, and they unfortunately weren't. And I'm sorry about that, because I know that hurts. I'm starting to dissociate a little bit, so I'm thinking get this makeup done and get this video filmed before we start to dissociate. See, this is connected to, I think, Twitch, maybe. Even though we're logged in on Streamlabs to YouTube, none of the stuff down here will work. Thank you, Katie. Okay, I'm going to get this lipstick on and then get this video filmed, I think. I don't have any tissues here, so I'm just going to have to... I have this. Let's use this to wipe off the plumpy thing, which you can just leave on as a lip gloss. But this thing is kind of glossy anyway, so I don't want to put gloss over gloss. I'm so glad, Pixie Locks, that you had people who were all really accepting of your DID. I wish it was like that for everybody. Everybody deserves to have people... I've got fluff on my mouth. People who understand and care. And that's one of the reasons that we started Dissociative as well, was people to have a place with other people that felt safe regarding DID and being able to ask questions and things. Another not great thing about having small lips, it's quite hard to apply things because there's no room for error. There's no room, full stop. Tiny white woman lips, man. Not the tiny white woman lips. I am white, but I'm not a woman, so it's a double whammy, man. Well, that's what it looked like. Okay. Don't be weird about this, I'm just getting it off the inside of my mouth. Done. This is what we got. This is what you will see tomorrow. I need to film and edit the frick-frack out of this. It took me like 3 or 4 days to edit Mike's video. Hopefully this one won't take as long. Yeah, this is what we got. Thank you for joining in for the stream, everybody. It was lovely to be able to speak to you all. Hope you're doing well. And thank you for all the super chats and the questions. It's just really nice to be able to chat with you, honestly. Popping in to wish you luck fighting your BBEG today. Thank you! Oh, yeah, stay tuned for the video tomorrow. It's going to be released normal time, which is 6 PM BST, which I think is midday CT or 1 PM CT. Normal time. Watch to hear all the ways in which he was correct, to see the actual documents that were sent by the court, and what reasons they gave, which he obviously did not, he declined to mention, but also he made some accusations about us, or implications of accusations about us, and we need to tell you what the truth of them actually is, because it obviously was not correct. So yes, stay tuned, be excited, we're excited, come celebrate with us, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you are. And we'll see you tomorrow on the YouTube. Have a great time. Bye, everybody. Bye, buddy. We love you. Bye.